She was starving, until a human made the ultimate sacrifice. The desperate encounter. The emergency alert pierced the quiet of Deep Space Research Station Omega, its shrill tone echoing through the metal corridors as Harrison Reed jolted awake from his desk. 3 months into his xenobiology research assignment, and the station had remained frustratingly mundane. Until now. Dr. Reed to Medical Bay 3 immediately. Commander Vega's voice commanded over the intercom, an unusual edge of urgency in her typically measured tone. Harrison grabbed his tablet and sprinted through the station's curved hallways, his heart pounding against his ribs. The station hadn't received visitors in weeks, and emergency protocols were rarely activated this far from the disputed zones. When the doors to Medical Bay 3 slid open, the scene before him stole his breath. Surrounded by the station's security team stood a being unlike any he'd encountered in his 15 years of xenobiology work. Her skin, if it could be called that, rippled with translucent patterns that seemed to flow like liquid crystal beneath a barely solid surface. But what struck Harrison most was how these patterns were fading, dimming like stars being extinguished one by one. She materialized in the hangar bay 20 minutes ago, Commander Vega explained, dark circles under her eyes betraying her exhaustion. No ship, no warning. Security sensors detected her presence, and when we arrived, she was already collapsed. She hasn't spoken, but her life signs are failing rapidly. Harrison approached cautiously. The being's eyes fluttered open, iridescent violet orbs that seemed to contain galaxies within them. Her form trembled, the crystalline patterns beneath her skin pulsing weakly. "Has anyone attempted communication?" Harrison asked, already running preliminary scans with his medical tablet. The readings made no sense. Her biological composition seemed to shift between matter and energy states in ways that defied the laws of physics as he understood them. "Our linguists tried," replied Lieutenant Toru, the head of security, his hand never straying far from his weapon. "She doesn't respond to any known communication protocols." Harrison knelt beside the examination table. The being's breathing was shallow, her chest barely rising. Each breath seemed to dim the light patterns flowing beneath her skin. "My name is Harrison," he said gently, placing his tablet aside. "I want to help you. Can you understand me?" For several heartbeats, there was nothing. Then her eyes focused on him with startling intensity. Her trembling hand reached for him, hovering inches from his face. "Nix," came a voice that seemed to bypass his ears and resonate directly in his mind. "I am Nix." Harrison felt a jolt of excitement mingled with scholarly fascination. Telepathic communication was theorized but rarely documented. "She's in my head," he announced to the others, who tensed visibly. "She says her name is Nix." The commander nodded reluctantly. "Do what you need to, but Lieutenant Toru stays with you. We don't know enough about this being or her intentions yet." Harrison worked feverishly, drawing samples from both Nix and himself, running comparisons and simulations as the alien's life force visibly ebbed. The station's medical computer strained to analyze the complex interactions between human plasma and Nix's crystalline biology. "Fascinating," he muttered, reviewing the results. "Her cellular structure can absorb specific elements from our plasma, elements that seem to catalyze an energy conversion process within her own system." Commander Vega looked over his shoulder at the complex molecular diagrams. "Will it save her?" "Theoretically," Harrison replied, uncertainty in his voice. "But we have no precedent for this kind of xenobiological intervention. The risk of rejection is high." A weak mental touch brushed against his consciousness. "Please, help." The plea cut through Harrison's scientific detachment. This wasn't just an unprecedented research opportunity. This was a sentient being dying before his eyes. "I need to synthesize a compatible plasma substitute," he announced, already moving toward the medical fabricator. "If I can isolate the components she needs." The lights throughout Medical Bay 3 suddenly flickered as Nix convulsed, her form briefly losing cohesion before solidifying again. Alarms blared from the monitoring equipment. "We're out of time," Harrison said grimly, abandoning the fabricator and rolling up his sleeve. "Her system is collapsing." Lieutenant Toru stepped forward. "Dr. Reed, what are you doing?" "The synthesis will take hours. She has minutes at best." Harrison reached for a medical extraction device. "I'm giving her what she needs directly." Commander Vega's eyes widened. "That's against all first contact protocols. We have no idea how your system will react to hers. And she'll be dead before we find out if I don't," Harrison countered, already prepping the extraction unit. "Sometimes science requires a leap of faith, Commander." As Harrison positioned the device over his arm, he felt Nex's consciousness brush against his once more, weaker now, fading like a whisper in a storm. "Your essence may change me," came her warning, fragmented and barely coherent. "And I may change you." Harrison paused, the implication of her words sinking in. This wasn't just a transfusion. It was potentially a transformation for both of them. Everything in his scientific training warned against such an unknown variable. But the light beneath Nix's skin had dimmed to almost nothing now. In the sterile confines of Medical Bay 3, with alarms blaring and his colleagues watching in tense silence, Harrison Reed made a decision that would forever alter the course of human-alien relations. "Some risks," he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else, "are worth taking." He activated the extraction device, feeling the familiar pull as his plasma began flowing into the collection chamber. Lieutenant Toru shifted uncomfortably, hand still near his weapon, while Commander Vega watched with a mixture of concern and grudging respect. As the chamber filled with a golden-tinged plasma, Harrison could only hope his leap of faith wouldn't end in disaster for them all. The fate of two species now rested in a simple vial of human plasma and the desperate gamble of one scientist who refused to let a stranger die when he had the means to save her. The ultimate sacrifice. The golden plasma gleamed under the harsh Medical Bay lights as Harrison held the vial before Nex's dimming form. Her once brilliant crystalline patterns had faded to dull pulses, like stars moments before extinction. "How do we administer it?" Commander Vega asked, her voice tight with tension. The entire medical team stood frozen, witnessing a procedure with no protocol, no precedent in the annals of xenobiology. Harrison hesitated. "I'm not sure. Their biology is unlike anything in our database." A faint mental whisper touched his mind. "Direct connection." Nix's trembling hand rose weakly, pointing to the center of her chest, where the patterns converged into what resembled a complex geometric heart. With careful movements, Harrison approached with the vial. "Lieutenant, if this goes wrong," he began. "I'll be ready," Lieutenant Toru replied grimly, his hand resting on his weapon. As Harrison brought the plasma closer to Nex's chest, something extraordinary happened. The vial's contents began to shimmer and shift, as if responding to her presence. Tendrils of golden light reached from the plasma toward her skin. "Incredible," whispered Dr. Fiona Lin, the station's chief medical officer who had arrived moments earlier. "It's as if your plasma recognizes her on a molecular level." With steady hands, Harrison tilted the vial, allowing the plasma to make contact with the central pattern on Nex's chest. The effect was immediate and astonishing. The liquid didn't pool or spill, but was absorbed instantly, drawn into her form as if by powerful magnetic attraction. The geometric patterns beneath her skin flared brilliantly, pulsing with renewed energy that cast the entire Medical Bay in golden violet light. Nex's back arched as the plasma integrated with her system, her eyes flying open to reveal galaxies of light swirling within violet depths. A wave of energy emanated from her body, causing the medical equipment to spark and flicker. "Life signs stabilizing," Dr. Lin announced, staring at her readings with disbelief. "No, more than stabilizing. They're amplifying." Harrison felt a surge of relief, but it was short-lived. A strange tingling sensation began at his fingertips, spreading rapidly up his arms. Where the extraction device had punctured his skin, a small pattern was forming, crystalline in structure, violet in hue, matching the now vibrant patterns flowing beneath Nix's skin. "Dr. Reed, your arm," Commander Vega exclaimed, pointing at the spreading pattern. Lieutenant Toru immediately stepped forward. "This needs to stop now. We have no idea what's happening to him." But Harrison couldn't focus on their concerns. His mind was suddenly flooded with sensations and images unlike anything he'd experienced. Vast crystal cities floating among nebulae, beams of light communicating through patterns and wavelengths, knowledge flowing like rivers of energy. "A connection," he gasped, understanding dawning. "It's not just plasma she needed. It's a symbiotic bond." Nyx sat upright, her movements now fluid and graceful, her form more solid than before. The patterns beneath her skin pulsed in perfect synchronicity with the crystalline mark spreading across Harrison's forearm. "Yes," her voice resonated clearly in his mind, stronger than before. "The essence of life contains more than physical components. It carries connection." Commander Vega approached cautiously. "What's happening to Dr. Reed? Is this permanent?" Nyx turned her luminous gaze to the commander. To everyone's surprise, she spoke aloud, her voice melodic yet slightly mechanical, as if she was learning to use vocal cords for the first time. "The bond is forming," she explained. "Your scientist has given more than plasma. He has shared his life frequency, his resonance. Among my people, such bonds are sacred, formed only in times of greatest need." Harrison felt a strange sense of clarity as the initial shock subsided. The crystalline pattern on his arm had stabilized, extending from wrist to elbow in an intricate design that seemed to shift and flow beneath his skin. "I can feel her thoughts," he explained to the others, who watched with varying expressions of concern and fascination. "Not just words, concepts, histories, emotions." Dr. Lin approached with a scanner. "Your cellular structure is showing signs of alteration, Harrison. Nothing dangerous yet, but your DNA is incorporating new patterns similar to hers." "Adaptation," Nyx nodded, her movements becoming more human-like with each passing moment. "The bond allows mutual survival through shared essence. Your body accepts elements of my biology as I have accepted yours." Lieutenant Toru remained skeptical. "And what exactly does this bond entail? How far does this adaptation go?" Harrison turned to face his colleagues, suddenly aware that he could sense their energy fields, faint compared to Nyx's brilliant presence, but distinctly unique to each person. "I'm still me," he assured them, though part of him wondered at the truth of those words. "But I can perceive things differently now. Energy patterns, life frequencies." Nyx slid gracefully from the examination table, standing for the first time. Her form seemed more substantial than before, less ethereal, though the crystalline patterns continued to flow beneath her skin. "Your sacrifice has saved more than just one life," she said, her voice resonating with emotion. "Through you, I understand your species in ways impossible through mere observation." Commander Vega stepped forward. "And what exactly are your intentions toward our species?" "Toward Dr. Reed." Nyx extended her hand, palm upward, small patterns of light dancing above it. "My people are known as the Lumina. We are travelers, observers of life's patterns throughout the galaxy. We rarely interact directly with other species because our energy signatures are incompatible." Through their bond, Harrison received flashes of the luminous history, ancient beings who evolved beyond physical form, existing primarily as energy patterns that could manifest temporarily in matter. Their civilization spanned galaxies, yet they remained isolated by their very nature. "They're energy beings," Harrison explained to the others. "They can take physical form but require tremendous energy to maintain it. That's why Nyx was failing. Her energy reserves were depleted after her ship was damaged." Dr. Lin frowned. "And this bond, it's providing her with continuous energy now." "A symbiotic exchange," Nyx corrected. "Harrison provides stabilizing matter patterns while I enhance his energetic perception." Neither diminished, both transformed. The revelation settled over the medical bay. Commander Vega seemed to be weighing potential threats against scientific opportunity, while Lieutenant Toru remained wary but less openly hostile. "If this bond is permanent," Commander Vega said at last, "we need to understand its full implications, for both Harrison and potentially for humanity's relationship with your species." Harrison nodded, feeling strangely at peace despite the extraordinary circumstances. "I made this choice, Commander. Now I need to understand what it means." Nyx turned to him, her violet eyes meeting his with startling intensity. "Among my people, such bonds were theoretical, possibilities discussed by our philosophers, but never attempted. Your willingness to share your essence has opened a door long thought closed." Through their connection, Harrison perceived a deeper truth. The Lumina had been dying as a species, their energy forms becoming increasingly unstable without connection to physical matter. His sacrifice hadn't just saved Nyx, it had potentially revealed a path forward for her entire race. "The universe contains countless forms of life," Nyx continued, addressing everyone present. "Yet all share a fundamental resonance, what you might call a life force. Your scientist acted on an intuitive understanding of this truth when conventional wisdom would have dictated caution." Dr. Lin was already documenting the changes in both Harrison and Nyx, her scientific curiosity overcoming initial fear. "The implications for medicine alone are staggering. If we could understand how your species manipulates energy at the cellular level." "We should proceed carefully," Commander Vega interrupted. "This bond may be benign, even beneficial, but we need time to study and understand it before making any broader decisions about relations with the Lumina." Harrison nodded, flexing his hand as the crystalline pattern pulsed with his heartbeat. Through his connection with Nyx, he sensed no deception, no hidden agenda, only gratitude, curiosity, and a profound sense of potential. "I believe this is just the beginning," he said quietly, "not just for Nyx and me, but perhaps for both our species." As the medical team continued their examinations, Harrison felt a gentle touch in his mind. Nyx's consciousness brushing against his own. "Your sacrifice was greater than you knew," her thoughts whispered. "The first of your kind to truly understand mine. The path ahead contains both wonders and challenges, but we will face them together." Harrison looked at the crystalline patterns now flowing beneath his skin, permanent evidence of a choice made in a moment of compassion. Whatever transformation awaited him, whatever diplomatic complexities might arise between humans and Lumina, he couldn't bring himself to regret his decision. In the sterile confines of Medical Bay 3, surrounded by the curious gazes of his colleagues, Harrison Reed had become something unprecedented in human history, a bridge between physical and energy beings, between human limitation and cosmic potential. The ultimate sacrifice had become the ultimate gateway to something entirely new.